Cold steel. Flickering lights. 1 hour until death. Marcus Vega sat in silence, chains heavy on his wrists. His final request wasn't for family or forgiveness. It was for Coda, his retired canine partner. But when the dog entered the room, he didn't nuzzle Marcus. He growled and pointed a trembling paw toward the warden. Stay with us, because this story will leave you speechless. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Dawn broke over razor wire fences, painting the prison in shades of gray and regret. Guards moved with a funeral rhythm, boots echoing like a countdown against cold concrete. In his cell, Marcus sat unnervingly calm, elbows on knees, hands clasped, as if praying without moving his lips. No pacing, no tears, no begging, just stillness. The warden arrived with clipboard in hand, voice firm but not unkind. 2 hours until the chamber, he announced. Any final requests beyond the one already granted? Marcus lifted his head slowly, eyes hollow, yet strangely peaceful. No, he whispered. Just the one. Everyone knew his request. To see Coda one last time. The Belgian Malinois, who'd once been his shadow, his brother, his only truth in a world of lies. Arrangements had been made. Coda was on his way. And for the first time in years, Marcus felt something stir beneath the weight of his chain's hope. The air in the cell grew heavier with each passing minute, thick with antiseptic and dread. Marcus closed his eyes, breathing slowly, remembering the scent of rain on pavement, the weight of a canine vest, the warmth of a loyal body pressed against his leg during long stakeouts. He wasn't afraid to die. He was afraid of dying, with the truth still buried. Coda wasn't born a hero. He was rescued from a fighting ring, scarred, malnourished, flinching at sudden movements. No one believed he'd ever wear a canine vest, but Marcus saw what others missed. He saw resilience. Every morning before sunrise, Marcus trained him with patience, never a raised voice, soft words, gentle hands, rewarding every tiny step forward. Day by day, fear faded. Confidence bloomed. Instincts sharpened. Soon Coda was outperforming every rookie in the academy. Their bond ran deeper than duty. They ate together, ran together, healed together after injuries. When Marcus woke screaming from nightmares, Coda would press his head beneath his handler's trembling hand, grounding him back to earth. When Coda limped after a rooftop chase, Marcus slept on the floor beside him for 3 nights straight. They were more than partners. They were family. And Coda proved that loyalty one rainy night during a warehouse bust. An attacker dropped from the rafters with a knife. Before Marcus could react, Coda launched from the shadows, a blur of muscle and fury knocking the man down, teeth clamped on his arm until backup arrived. You saved me, boy, Marcus whispered that night, cradling Coda's head. I owe you everything. He meant every word. That night cemented something unbreakable between them, a silent vow that neither would ever abandon the other, no matter the cost. Coda wasn't just a tool of the law. He was Marcus's conscience, his compass, his only constant in a world of shifting loyalties. The night everything shattered began like any other raid. Abandoned factory. Tip about stolen weapons. Routine. Or so they thought. Marcus and Coda entered alone through a side entrance, radio static swallowing their calls. Shadows stretched long across concrete floors. Then gunfire. A blunt strike to Marcus's temple. Darkness. He woke to sirens, blood on his hands. Coda barking frantically, not at him, but over him. Shielding him. Officers rushed in, guns drawn. They saw Marcus kneeling beside a fallen officer. Blood everywhere. Coda snarling, teeth bared. To them, it looked like accusation. The prosecution weaponized that image relentlessly. Even his own dog knew he was guilty, they argued. No cameras, no witnesses. Ballistics matched Marcus's service weapon. Coda was retired, immediately ripped from Marcus's life without a goodbye. The trial lasted 6 days. Verdict in 90 minutes. Guilty, death penalty. Marcus never cried, never shouted. He simply disappeared into silence because losing Coda hurt more than losing his freedom, more than losing his name, more than losing his life. In his cell that first night, Marcus whispered into the darkness, "I didn't do it, boy. You know I didn't." But Coda wasn't there to hear him, and the world believed the lie, because the one witness who knew the truth had been silenced not by a muzzle, but by retirement papers signed without Marcus's knowledge. The execution chamber waiting room smelled of antiseptic and dread. Marcus sat restrained, chains clinking softly with each breath. Then, a jangle of tags, a familiar rhythm of paws on tile. The door opened. Coda entered. Gray-muzzled now, limping slightly, but eyes sharp with recognition. Marcus's throat tightened. "Coda, boy!" But the dog didn't rush forward, didn't whine with joy. He growled low, dangerous, vibrating through the metal walls. Officers tensed. "He remembers what you did," one muttered. Coda's gaze wasn't fixed on Marcus. It was fixed past him, toward Warden Croft standing silently in the corner. Marcus whispered his name again. Coda froze, sniffed the air, then pressed his nose against Marcus's temple right where the old scar lived. A memory unlocked. Marcus gasped. The factory. A shadowy figure striking him from behind. A pen clattering to the floor silver, engraved with a hawk emblem. Coda barked twice his trained alert for hidden weapon. Marcus's eyes snapped to Croft. "That pen," he whispered. "I saw it fall that night." Croft flinched. A pen dropped from his pocket. Coda lunged not at Marcus, but at the warden pouncing on the pen, growling deep in his chest. The truth had a scent, and Coda never forgot a scent tied to betrayal. The room erupted in confusion. Guards shouted. Croft stepped back, face pale, but Coda stood firm over the pen, ears pinned, teeth showing not at Marcus, but at the man who had stolen his partner's life. Croft broke faster than anyone expected. "You weren't supposed to survive that raid," he shouted, sweat beading on his forehead. He'd been running weapons through the factory for months. Marcus stumbled into his operation by accident. Croft struck him, planted evidence, framed him to protect his empire. Coda saw everything, Marcus realized, voice cracking. The dog hadn't been barking an accusation that night. He'd been trying to shield Marcus from the real killer, to warn him, to save him, just like always. The execution was halted. Chains removed. As metal clattered to the floor, Coda pressed his head into Marcus's palm, a gesture unchanged after all these years. Outside, sunrise painted the sky in golden rose. Marcus knelt, burying his face in Coda's fur. "You never forgot," he whispered. "You carried the truth when I couldn't." Coda whined softly, a sound carrying years of separation, confusion, and unwavering loyalty. They walked out together through the front gates, not as prisoner and dog, but as brothers reunited. The world watched in silence as truth walked free on 4 paws and 2 feet. Reporters shouted questions. Cameras flashed. But Marcus only had eyes for the gray-muzzled dog walking beside him, shoulder-brushing his leg with every step exactly as it had years ago. Loyalty never forgets. Even when the world turns its back, one faithful heart can carry truth through years of darkness. Marcus didn't need a lawyer or a miracle, he needed the friend who remembered what he couldn't. In a world of lies, integrity has a scent, and some souls, human or animal, refuse to let it fade. Where you go, I go. Not just a promise kept. Because the deepest bonds aren't broken by prison walls or time or lies. They wait. They remember. They return. And sometimes, just sometimes, they arrive exactly when we need them most to rewrite the ending we never thought possible. Truth can be delayed, but never destroyed. And loyalty? Loyalty is forever.